It's actually a really good garlic bread.
Garlic bread is my favorite food. I could honestly eat it for every meal, or just eat it all the time without even stopping.
You get fat.
No, why would I get fat?
Bread makes you fat.
Bread makes you fat?
Edgar Wright, a household name but even more of an indie darling. Born and raised in Dorset, England, Wright began his career as a filmmaker in the mid-1990s. He steadily became a household name in Britain, working on broadcasts such as BBC and Sky. Since then, he has become renowned for cult classic films such as the Cornetto trilogy, Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, and his eventual box office hit, Baby Driver, featuring Kevin. Whilst Wright is primarily a director, he's also responsible for co-writing many of his films, including those last mentioned. Through his filmography, Wright has become synonymous with several different techniques, both utilized in writing and directing. Some main techniques used by Wright include quick cuts, synchronization, transition techniques, and creative camera work. Add all of these techniques together and you might just have yourself an Edgar Wright film. How do I finish the recording? Edgar Wright and quick cutting essentially go hand in hand. From his earliest work to his most recent, Wright has always had a heavy reliance on quick cutting and editing to enhance the comedic timing of the film. Wright also uses quick cutting to move the narrative forward within the world of the film. By rapidly cutting between shots, Wright can essentially fast forward to the most important parts of the film. This means that any filler shots within the film which don't drive the narrative forward are discarded. This helps to keep the audience fully engaged. An example of where this technique is used can be seen in this clip from Hot Fuzz. In this scene, the film's main protagonist, Nick Angel, is moving from the city to his new job in a country town. Through his use of quick cuts and editing, Wright is able to film this scene in just over 30 seconds, where the story has been moved ahead by at least a few hours. Whilst the shots in this montage cut at a rapid pace, Wright allows for many of the shots to focus on the protagonist. This allows for the audience to still connect with the protagonist even in a montage. Another prevalent technique used in all of Wright's filmography is synchronization. This refers to how sound and visual work together within a film. Wright differs from other directors when it comes to sound design. Where other directors may look at sound as an afterthought for post-production, Wright likes to incorporate sound into his film from the very beginning. This is shown through all of his major films, where Wright builds a relationship between sound and the visuals. The culmination of this is seen in Baby Driver, where sound plays a much bigger part than just filling in the silence. Similar to the previous technique, Wright likes to structure his shots on the beat. This same notion is used within the technique of synchronization, except instead of cutting on beat, the emphasis is on character movement. The most famous example of this is in the iconic Don't Stop Me Now fight scene from Shaun of the Dead. Whilst a sequence like this doesn't add to the story more than any regular fight scene or other scene of the like would, as a standalone scene, it acts as a spectacle, a marker for Wright's creative ability, and as a lesson on how sound and visuals can work together seamlessly. Few filmmakers have a catalogue of transitions like Edgar Wright does. An integral part of any film he makes, Wright likes to use transitions in nearly every scene of every movie he's been a part of. Wright's transitions are a key reason as to why he stands out among filmmakers. However, it is not the sheer number of transitions or the quality of transitions that put him apart from others, but it's the use of the transitions within the story. Wright, unlike other filmmakers, doesn't just use transitions as a cool visual trick to impress the audience. His transitions, much like his use of quick edits, are used to move the story forward in a seamless fashion. With one whip pan or crossfade, Wright can move the story from day to night, or move the characters into another location. Wright uses a number of routine transition techniques to achieve this, including match cuts and whip pans, but he also uses unconventional techniques to transition from one place and or time to another, including by cutting on a reverse shot. These transitions act as yet another way for Wright to show off his creativity and in turn excite the audience while also having a purpose within the film. The most important use of transitions within an Edgar Wright film is for it to strengthen the film. The notion from Edgar Wright is not how to make your transitions impress, it's how to make your transitions count. The place where Wright truly shines is with his use of the camera. Every Edgar Wright film is littered with different camera angles and movements. He puts an emphasis on creative camera work within his films, which also includes quick cuts and transitions, to enhance the engagement of the viewers and keep the story flowing without feeling stale. Wright seems to reject the idea of simplicity in his films. Rarely will you see a shot where the camera stays in the same place for too long. And even though Wright uses a number of creative camera techniques in all of his films, none of them ever feel as though they are repeated. In Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, Wright uses split-screen shots and high and low angles. Baby Driver offers a nearly 3-minute long scene where the camera stays on the character for the entire time, without cutting. And unlike any other, more Hollywood filmmakers, Wright doesn't use all these creative camera shots for the sake of it. They all serve a purpose within the film. These 4 techniques, among many others, not only makes Edgar Wright a cult favourite filmmaker among many movie lovers, but also make up the reasons as to why he is my favourite filmmaker. Even though the box office hasn't exactly been kind to him, he can take solace into knowing that his films have been critically acclaimed and that his techniques have inspired filmmakers around the world.